Alright, here we are in round 1. This hand is a mulligan. This hand is a keep. Scrying non-land to the bottom. And hope that we can play a game. I think Core Cascader is more likely to force a trade. Okay. Against green-white, you want to get their support targets off the battlefield. So I'm willing to trade pretty early here. I have access creatures. If he doesn't block, then, you know, I can just play another threat. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting position. If I play Serene Steward, I go for 3. I take 2 anyways. I'm just gonna play the 4-drop. Because if he plays Saddleback Lagak or something next turn, then has a 3/3 and a 2/2, I hold off a lot more damage this way. Drug Auxiliary. Alright, so he's pretty far from being able to activate that. So I think this turn I'll go ahead, make this flying, and crunch, or put a missile land drop as well. The other reason to leave Auxiliary around for now is that with more support targets on board, I would prefer that if he's going to play a support card, which green and white has a tendency to do, that he supports onto the target that I then remove, so I just get a little bit more value. Obviously, you know, if I Oblivion Strike that turn, I didn't have attacks. This way, you know, if he goes land, or if he sacks a sign, Expedition Raptor or something, which is a pretty aggressive play, I wouldn't expect to see that, but it is still an option. If he Isolation Zones me here, I'll just go ahead and tap down the Auxiliary. It saves me 1 damage over just letting this die, if this were to be what he took, because he'd still attack with multiple here. I'm not going to tap down at the beginning of combat, though. Okay. So Lithomancer's Focus is an option here. He could have like Inspired Charge. There's a number of things that trade up into my Spawnbinder Mage in this spot. So I'm not going to block here. Gideon's Reproach, things like that. Could be Lead by Example for example. Allied Reinforcements. Okay, so we'll tap one of those down. Alright, so we have to start using removal here. And I will just pass. So Allied Reinforcements is one of those cards that make my Oblivion Strikes look a little bit silly. I think this turn I probably am going to have to block. What I'll do most likely is block with the Steward as well. Yeah. So if what he has is make a stand, I don't get completely blown out. The steward's not going to do anything but block this game anyways. This is going to eat up his turn. Okay, so lead by example. Wow. Okay. Well, snap that down then. Alright, so it took 2 spells, but that was very bad. I'm going to hang back. I'm not going to race, behind in the race. I'm not going to try to race this. I'm just going to try to trade with the 3/3. Oh god, this is judgment? Let's be miserable. I guess I have one more turn. Yep, green-white is pretty good when you get the right stuff. That's game. Yeah, that was pretty tough. I'm guessing that I'm probably taking out grip in this spot, bringing in a combat trick or two to try to fight against what he's doing, with a bunch of combat tricks. I could cut Hedron Crawler as well, bring in another trick. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yep, I'll run it like this. This gives me cheap ways to interact. I could have brought in the Lithomancer's Focus as well. But this gives me a way to fight his... Oh my god. Well, I'll keep this, I guess. Okay, so he mulliganed as well. I'll bottom that. And he topped. So we're probably in trouble again. Wow. That's a good card. So I'm not going to block this turn. Oh, he didn't even attack with it. Alright, so I'll play the Scythe Master. I need to get value from shoulder to shoulder here. And my combat trick is better on an attacking first striker anyways. And Unnatural Endurance should help me survive combat regardless here. You would probably need multiple tricks to save the Sylvan Advocate. I could see Saddleback. He attacks here. I get him with Unnatural Endurance. Okay. Just a flyer. Allied Reinforcements is good. Just gonna shoulder to shoulder here. I could play this guy. I'm not going to though. I think I'll attack with the first strike guy. So now this board state's pretty threatening for his attacker. Ghostly Sentinel. Alright, no attacks. So if I attack with Scythe Master, he blocks. It's not super great for me, but I can just do something like this. He doesn't seem to have tricks. this time around. There's still enough board tension that I don't want to go all in here. The 4-3 is doing quite a bit of work. So saddleback. This will probably prompt attacks. So we'll block the 4-5. Get rid of the advocate to draw something here. So this is a little bit interesting. I could go with both and then just play out both creatures. That has to be right. Oh, that doesn't let me play both creatures. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that'll force a chump. I'll hold up the unnatural endurance again. I'm certainly dead to some things here, but I think I needed to get aggressive. Yeah, he has a pretty synergistic deck. You know, he makes some tokens, makes some pretty reasonable mid-range threats. Alright. Ghostly Sentinel. That is lethal. That was a nice draw. Okay, so despite 2 mulligans, we're even in this series. So yeah, I think that bringing the tricks in was really good. He doesn't seem to have a way to really deal with them. I'm trying to think if there's reason. I mean, like Ondu Rising is a way for me to swing the game back if I'm really far behind. But I think I'm just gonna bring in another trick. I could. There's, excuse me. There's an argument for bringing in Fortified Rampart as well. It's definitely in consideration. I could cut an Oblivion Strike and bring it in. Nah. I think I'll run with this. Hopefully we have a reasonable hand. Yeah, this is a keep. Our opponent kept as well. Okay. Okay, Core Cascadator is a great way to deal with Gnarlid. I'm going to snap block here. I want to protect my life total. He has tricks, but if he has to use them on this turn and not develop, I'm fine with that. Scythe Master of his own. I'll get my own online. Natural Endurance, not very good against the Scythe Master. Alright, so Missile Drop, we're going to take some beats here. If he attacks with both, I'm probably not going to block the Auxiliary. I certainly don't want to be racing, but this at least puts me in a position where next turn, if I don't hit land, yeah, so I'm certainly not going to block here. Take a bunch. Ghostly Sentinel. Okay, so we did draw a land. So I want to remove something here. This is a very tricky turn. Pretty sure that he has a trick of some kind. Alright. I think even if I remove the Ghostly Sentinel, the question is, do I have to just remove Draga Auxiliary? Then I take 6 basically no matter what. So I think first things first, I need to decide if... So if I take out the Auxiliary, I'm not blocking. That's basically decided. And I don't think I can afford to take out the Auxiliary. So I think I attack with both. Alright, this is getting close. This is basically an all-out race at this point. Linvala. Wow. Well, sometimes you just lose. I could still just go with both. Yeah, I don't think this was a match we could have even won. If we really wanted to. We still have a chance. It's a really small one though. Because we're going to take 5 here. Minimum. I think I have to go with risky blocks here. And double block the Scythe Master. Block the Draga Auxiliary. Force him to either tie up his mana to use the Auxiliary to pump both. Yeah. The other option is chump double block, which might be better. Maybe I chump double block here. Yeah, I think this is safer, because if he does use the support, these trade, he kills both my tokens. I'm left with a 3/1 first strike. Okay, so I go to 2. Ugh. This deck is very good. So I can Oblivion Strike, which isn't enough. I cannot do anything.